All right. So obviously, Guy, because you're the owner-operator at BlackCouch Studios, it's simply, put that we're going to do the whole thing there. But how did you and Jerry come up with this ingenious idea?
Jerry and I had been hanging out in the studio a lot, going over different ideas for music ideas and stuff. And then I got a call from Jerry, a week later, and it was basically his idea. I kind of had a similar thing going on with another group of people, but not like this. Mm-hmm. This was Jerry's kind of brainchild.
Jerry, what was the incentive behind this? What made you think of doing this, especially in this date and time?
Well, in this time, I thought it was perfectly suitable because musicians want to play, they need to play, and it's just good to be able to do something creative. And mainly just to promote musicians and music in Ventura was really the idea that we were going for. But actually, where it came from is many years ago, I used to have these block parties on our street. And there was literally like three at one time bands, known Ventura bands that lived on our street. And so we would have these block parties and there would be 30 musicians. And so that's where I came up with the idea is, well, let's get all the musicians, everybody put all their names in the hat. We'll draw these random bands and we'll have a battle of the bands with just musicians that would come to this party, and we'd give out trophies and everything. It would be really fun. So I just took that idea and took it even further and put the anonymity of it. And we were able to assemble musicians that didn't even know each other, had never played before, and just thought it was a great thing because it's just a fun idea to promote Ventura music and get something musicians would be excited about doing.
So, Guy, how did you guys come up with it's 16 names, correct?
16 musicians, yep. How did we come up with those particular musicians?
Yeah, so there were 4 guitarists, 4 bass players, 4 drummers, and then 4 guitarists/vocalists.
No, well, 8 guitar players.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that idea came about, well, it was literally Jerry's idea for let's get 2 guitarists, a bass player and drummer for each group, and we'll do 4 groups. I had the idea of maybe we should do 3 groups to keep it simple for the first round, but we ended up doing 4 groups because of the judging process and the process of elimination.
So none of them were actual singers.
Well, normally somebody sings in a 4-piece group.
Somebody's got to step up and take that.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about this project is we could get a lot of mileage out of it, do different phases of it, different ideas.
There was several singers. There was a lot more singers in the group than you would think. And some very good singers, but there happened to be some great singers also. Mm-hmm. And that was very much the luck of the draw of how the bands. So there were some bands that were assembled that had a couple different singers in it, and they just sometimes they even took different. Both singers would take a crack at the song, and they decided which one they liked among themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're saying, I just want to understand this. So you picked 4 musicians, and there were 2 guitarists, a bass player, and a drummer. They were told to arrive at the studio at a certain time. The other 3 members, when the person arrived, didn't know who the other 3 were going to be, correct?
Correct. And they didn't know what song they would be recording.
Right. So they got there, and how much time did they have to record the song?
3 hours.
3 hours.
Ooh. Now, it's a song, of course, that everybody already knows, or if they're really young, they should know, correct?
Yeah.
Did anyone not know the song?
Oh, yeah. We had a one ensemble of musicians that were 19 and 20 years old. They'd never heard this song.
That's a vast education right there, right?
That was a crash course. That was so funny.
It's just music. They can hear what's going on, and they're great musicians.
Each individual song, listening to it, I'm going, oh my God, this is awesome. Because it's like a clear change from what you know and love from the Stones. But it's like clearly, it's like original take of it. And they're not trying to reproduce what the Stones did, but they're making it their own, each individual group.
Right, and that was our idea, is that we wanted everybody to record, which sounds weird, but we wanted everybody to record the same song. Mm-hmm. So you could see the variety in the take, in their presentation and arrangement of the song. If you'd have done different songs, then you'd have been biased by going, well, I really like this song better than I like that song.
Exactly.
So by having everybody do the same number, and that kind of threw the musicians. They kind of thought, well, that's kind of weird. But that was the whole point of it, is you would see the variety of ideas that these guys, and creative ideas that these guys and gals came up with.
And the group number 4, which had the 2 youngsters in it, that had a really fresh edge to it, because they had never really been familiar with that song.
Right.
All right. So, Guy, Jerry, how much fun did these people have in the studio?
It was so obvious everybody was psyched about the idea when they started setting up, but when the night was over, everybody just kind of raved about how much fun it was. And even the next day I got calls and texts about, I'm ready to do it again. That was a blast. So it was very positive all the way around.
Yeah, they were all apprehensive at the beginning because, again, they're flying blind. And then there was some great musicians that we invited that declined, that said, well, I don't know. So doing the same song, I don't know. And I'd say, you're making a mistake. This is going to be fun.
And now they're going, dang it.
Hey, absolutely. And
Some of them are, yeah.
Mistake. And they said, well, maybe I could do it next time. Yeah, it was, but when they got into it, and many of the ensembles, the musicians had never met each other. They didn't even, especially if you take people from the blues world and mix them with the country world, mix them with the, rockabilly world, they don't know each other at all. And
Right.
They live literally 4 blocks from each other.
Right. It's not the largest of communities. I mean, it's a pretty close-knit community, so that's just astounding.
With a ton of talent.
And Jerry, you're such a great promoter of music anyway, so it's like you know so many musicians, and to reach out to them and bring them in and do this. Are you going to be doing this again?
Oh, absolutely. But Guy brought probably half of them, and I brought half of them.
Okay.
And so there were still musicians that he brought along, great players that I had never met before, that I've said I'm gonna. This one young lady is a guitar player. I said, I'm going to use her. I'm going to record whatever. I'm going to hire her. She's great.
So not only a great way to have fun, but networking between all the musicians as well.
Absolutely.
That was part of the key, for sure.
We all play all over LA. I've played all over California. We tour out of state. We do all kinds of things everywhere. Ventura has got really good musicians. I play down in LA. I've played so many places in LA, and I can name handfuls of musicians up here that'll play circles around those people. There's musicians up here that are really good players. Am I telling the truth, Guy, or not?
For sure, definitely.
Yeah, good players up here.
Yeah.
Nice validation of our music community. Very cool.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're ready to announce the winner. So go ahead and tell me which group number it was and who the musicians were on that recording.
It is group number 2, and that would be Ray J on guitar and vocals, and Joe Ba on guitar, Hank Van Sickle on bass, Chris Jensen on drums.
Okay. Any final words on, how great it was, you guys?
Well,
Are you looking forward to do it again, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. We're looking forward to doing it again. And we're going to have a lot more heat on us when we have to select the next group of musicians, because there's going to be musicians that are going to want to be involved that won't be because maybe they were already, and it's going to be a much harder decision. But we're really working the kinks out, and we really have appreciated the support from people in town, and it's just a good project, good for the soul.
It is, yeah, I agree.
Good for the heart and soul of Ventura's music scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking about